Welcome back to the Crew 2, guys. One of my favorite things to do every time we get a brand new racing game is to go in and figure out what the fastest car is. However, the Crew 2 is a little bit different because you've obviously got cars, but you've also got boats, planes, and bikes. So what I needed to do was go in and test all of those to figure out not what the fastest car is, but what is the fastest vehicle in the Crew 2. I'll give you a little warning, the answer might surprise you. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. So for the majority of today's video, we're going to be hanging out at the Bonneville Salt Flats, which is just a huge area, which is, it's technically off-road, but it's a huge flat area where you're able to go in and max your speeds out very, very easily. So I decided to bring out one of my fastest touring cars I had, which is actually the Saleen S7, and give that a go. This thing is actually mega quick, but in the game it can only hit, or I say only, it can only hit 250 miles an hour, which is really fast. It would make it one of the fastest cars in the world, but that is nowhere as fast as we can go in this game. So I decided to whip out my 2,700 horsepower Chevy Corvette drag car to see what that thing could do on the salt flat. Trying to find a very flat area and very straight bit of like Bonneville salt flat to do this in is actually harder than it might seem. There are actually quite a few bumps and dips all around the thing, but after a bunch of testing, the fastest speed I was able to hit was actually only 335 miles an hour, which is really fast, but again, nowhere near the maximum we can do in this game. So I thought, okay, maybe it's digging into the sand or I guess the salt on the salt flats a little bit too much, and maybe that's causing it to slow down. So I decided to take it out to my favorite road for testing top speed, which is actually all the way down in the bottom of the map, sort of in like the New Orleans area. Even on that road, I was able to do exactly the same speed, and I mean, I might have been able to go a little bit faster if traffic wasn't a thing, but running into traffic was not the problem. It was the car. My Corvette, although it's fast, is not the fastest drag car in this game in terms of like top speed. I got DJ to do a couple of runs for me, so huge props to DJ. You can check him out. They'll include a link down below. But DJ did a couple runs for me in his R34, and he was actually able to only hit 340 miles an hour along the salt flats. Which again, good, but not good enough. I did a bit of research, and even with a fully maxed out drag car, you can actually only hit 360 miles an hour along a perfectly flat, straight bit of road, which is good, but we can improve on that a little bit. So I decided, okay, maybe a car isn't the fastest way of getting around in the Crew 2. Maybe it's a plane. Planes are the fastest way to get around in real life, so maybe it's a plane in the Crew 2. So I decided to whip out the fastest plane in the game, which is this awesome bright little red thing, fly it all the way to the top of the map, go up to 14,000 feet, and then go straight down in the thing. And this thing actually surprisingly only hit 250 miles an hour. I was actually expecting a lot more from this thing, but 250 miles an hour is all it could hit. So I decided, nah, screw that. It's clearly not gonna be a plane. What if it's a boat? If you know anything about boats in the Crew 2, they're not the fastest method of transportation. Unless you do this method that DJ discovered. So again, huge props to DJ for figuring this method out, but here's what you need to do if you want to hit the maximum speed in the Crew 2. You actually need two vehicles to do this. You need a plane, and you also need a boat. You need to take your plane and fly it up all the way to the ceiling of the map. Again, go up to that 14,000 foot mark. Then sort of level off, or you don't even really need to, but then become a boat. And then if you know anything about the boats in this game, is you can trim with them, which means you can like lift up the front, and that's how you get more speed when you're on the water. However, if you point it down, your boat essentially goes like that and becomes what is essentially a dart facing the earth. You don't even have to give it gas. Gravity will just pull it all the way down, and it is so aerodynamic like that, you can actually hit the maximum speed we were able to hit was 317 miles an hour, and then I got my NOS on right at the end and hit 418 miles an hour. I found that actually like keeping the boat straight in the air was like the hardest thing to do. The boats actually really like to like fly and glide. You'll notice if you try this yourself, your boat will be going, and then when you get a little bit lower, it will actually start to slow down and sort of like start to glide, which is actually really cool. And then you can get it to like skip along the water. It's pretty cool. I recommend you guys try it out. Anyway, so I was actually doing this with a completely stock boat. It's actually the first boat you get in the game with no upgrades on it. So anyone can try this. Take the plane you get at the start and take the boat you get at the start. Just fly up to the top, become a boat, push forward on your stick so you trim down and go straight towards the earth, and you can pull off some crazy speeds. I still don't actually know if any upgrades make the thing faster or if different boats make it faster. I've had some experimenting going on with like jet sprint boats, and jet sprints are actually slower. The other thing I didn't experiment with is if upgrades change your boat at all. You don't even need to get on the gas, but maybe if you had some nitro boost, if you get on the nitrous, maybe you'll get an extra 1 or 2 miles an hour over what you would usually get. I don't know. I didn't really experiment with that too much either. If you guys are able to beat the speed, make sure you tweet me a video over on Twitter. It would be super, super cool to see what the crazy speeds you guys are able to hit. Anyways, after all that said and done, DJ was able to go all the way up to the ceiling, and he did this. He pulled 419 miles an hour. He didn't even get on the NOS. I'm sure if he pressed that NOS button, he would have hit 420 miles an hour. It's absolutely insane. Who would have ever guessed a boat is the fastest vehicle in the Crew 2? It's really, really cool. I highly suggest you try it out because it's just cool to play around with. If you actually go into the stats of the game, it's really funny to see, like, you have your bike speed, your plane speed, your car speed, and then your boat speed. It's just funny to see the boat speed so much faster than everything else. I absolutely love it. It does make sense, though, because you're taking this boat and you're turning it into a dart and going straight for the earth. It's so aerodynamic and just so fast. It's crazy. Anyways, guys, that is how you can hit 419 miles an hour. Plus, I'm sure you guys are going to be able to do a little bit faster than that. Tweet me your results over on Twitter. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon with some more of the Crew 2 gameplay. I'll see you guys then. Bye!